Before a divine encounter becomes unmistakable, it begins in silence. Long before transformation arrives, the soul senses a shift, gentle, subtle, almost fragile. The question that guides this episode is simple and eternal. How do you know when God is moving toward you, even before you can see Him?
The world rests beneath a quiet dawn. Pale light spreads across still landscapes, touching stones, trees, and rooftops with a gentle glow. Everything appears ordinary, yet something in the atmosphere feels changed. A soft pull rises within, a longing for silence, a desire to pause, a sense that the soul is waking up from a long sleep. Throughout centuries of spiritual writings, this moment has always appeared first, a quiet stirring that signals the beginning of God's approach. It doesn't shout, it whispers.
A small room sits in early morning light. A table holds simple objects, a cup, a few worn books, and a Bible resting untouched. But the true movement is invisible. A restless feeling begins, gentle but persistent. It is the kind of restlessness described by prophets, monks, believers, and seekers across thousands of years. It is the second sign. Not fear, not anxiety, but a spiritual discomfort that urges the soul to search for something it has ignored for too long. A vast open space fills the screen, fields, hills, or deserts stretching into the horizon. The landscape is beautiful, but the emptiness echoes something deeper. For centuries, spiritual pilgrims, prophets in solitude, desert fathers, and believers in hidden places described this same moment. The heart realizes it is full of many things, yet empty of what matters most. This emptiness becomes a doorway, not a wound, but a space carved out by God Himself, preparing the soul for something greater than it has ever known.
A cluttered table reveals the fragments of a hurried life. Notes, plans, unfinished tasks. But the camera slowly moves toward one object beneath the noise, the Bible. In spiritual histories across centuries, from ancient monasteries to simple homes, this same shift appears. The heart begins to reorder its priorities without asking permission. Suddenly, what once felt important begins to fade, and what was forgotten begins to call.
Night wraps the world in stillness. The scene shows a lone window, glowing with soft light. Inside that light, a quiet realization rises, one that believers throughout history have faced. The life being lived is not the life the soul was created for. It comes as clarity, not condemnation, as awakening, not fear. This is the third sign of God's nearness, a gentle confrontation with the truth. From a high place, the world stretches below like a tapestry of lights and shadows. Everything seems small, distant, temporary. The soul senses a pull, not toward achievement, not toward status, but toward the eternal. This longing has been described by saints, prophets, and seekers for millennia. It is the fourth sign, a quiet desire to rise above the noise and follow an unseen path. In a world full of motion and noise, one moment freezes in stillness. A peace arrives, soft, holy, unexplainable. This peace does not match the circumstances. It does not come from logic. It is the kind of peace ancient believers wrote about as a sign of God's approach, a calm that settles the heart before the mind understands why.
Storm clouds gather over the horizon, heavy with both darkness and light. A thin beam breaks through, small but powerful enough to shift everything. The narrator reveals the ancient truth. Before God reveals himself openly, the soul always feels the tension first, a sense that something holy is approaching. The episode closes with one final question. What happens when the whisper becomes a voice?
The soul, once stirred, now senses a deeper presence. A quiet calling grows stronger. The question lingers. What does it mean to truly follow the voice that cannot be ignored? Light and shadow shift in rhythm with the heart, signaling that something eternal is near.
The heart grows restless, unanchored by ordinary life. In quiet moments, unanswered questions rise like waves. The soul begins to notice the invisible threads of destiny and divine timing weaving through each day.
Small, subtle signs begin to appear. A word, a feeling, a moment of clarity. The universe seems to bend toward the seeker. These signs are not dramatic. They are whispers, guiding the soul toward attention and obedience.
The heart begins to yield. Resistance softens. Even the smallest acts, kneeling, pausing, listening, become profound. The soul senses that true change requires letting go, trusting the invisible guide.
A quiet illumination begins within. Thoughts are clearer, emotions calmer. The soul perceives patterns, truths, and paths that were previously invisible. Light grows steadily, as if reflecting the growing presence of the divine.
Even as challenges rise, the soul experiences unshakable peace. The storm of life may rage outside, but within there is clarity. This peace, unfamiliar yet undeniable, confirms the presence of something higher.
A deep longing emerges, not for wealth, status, or comfort, but for purpose. The soul begins to recognize that life is not random. Each moment, each encounter is orchestrated to guide it toward the divine plan.
Now the signs are clearer. Doors open, coincidences align, feelings of intuition strengthen. The invisible is becoming tangible. The soul realizes it is being guided not by chance, but by the hand of the divine.
The soul stands on the edge of transformation. The call is undeniable. Fear and doubt linger, but the pull toward the divine is stronger. One step forward, and the life that follows will be forever changed.
The signs are no longer subtle. The soul feels an undeniable nearness of the divine. Every heartbeat echoes with awareness. The question arises, how will one respond when God draws near in unmistakable ways?
The soul's senses awaken to the sacred. Sounds, sights, and emotions take on new meaning. Ordinary moments feel infused with divine presence. Every step carries significance. Invisible hands seem to guide choices. Opportunities, encounters, and thoughts align mysteriously. The soul feels an unseen direction, gentle but unmistakable. The heart becomes attuned to a higher rhythm. Quiet moments carry messages. Emotions, thoughts, and dreams converge, revealing patterns previously unseen.
Events and coincidences weave together as if by design. A sense of purpose emerges. Nothing is accidental. The soul feels connected to a grand, unseen tapestry.
A shift takes hold. Habits, thoughts, and desires begin to realign. The soul experiences clarity, courage, and humility, stepping into a renewed state of being. Every day brings unmistakable markers of God's presence, a feeling of peace, sudden clarity, or an unexpected encounter that changes perspective. The invisible is becoming visible.
The purpose becomes undeniable. Choices no longer feel random. Paths are illuminated. The soul senses its role in a divine plan, small yet significant.
The soul stands at the threshold of profound encounter. Fear and hesitation remain, but the pull of the divine is irresistible. One step forward leads to transformation beyond comprehension.
The soul feels the nearness of God like never before. Every breath carries reverence. Every thought resonates with eternal significance. The question now is no longer if, but how fully will I respond?
The heart opens completely, letting go of doubt and fear. Every sensation feels sacred. The soul senses the limitless presence of God and responds with humility and awe. Every sign, every encounter, every whisper converges into a clear message. The soul sees the path illuminated, the way forward undeniable.
Peace floods the soul. External chaos no longer shakes the heart. The divine presence brings clarity, strength, and serenity that transcends understanding.
The soul begins to act with quiet power. Choices align with wisdom. Words, gestures, and decisions ripple outward with unseen impact.
Every step feels guided. The path ahead, illuminated, is no longer uncertain. The soul walks confidently, embraced by unseen guidance.
Moments of clarity, understanding, and awe flow freely. The soul feels intimately connected to God's presence. Time seems suspended as eternity touches the heart.
Every doubt is replaced with assurance. The signs, once subtle, now affirm the soul's journey. There is no uncertainty, only trust, clarity, and peace.
The soul steps fully into the divine embrace. Fear is gone. Doubt vanishes. The journey, long and winding, culminates in unity with the eternal presence. Every heartbeat now resonates with divine rhythm.